Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adobe Live. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning for me here in California, but good morning to you, good afternoon, good evening, time-appropriate salutations. It's good to see all of you folks here for another Creative Cloud Express challenge. My name is VooDoo Val, and I am super excited to kind of jump into what we have planned today. If any of you folks are watching in the live chat this morning, it's great to see you. I see Cody Bear and Sean, Andreas. It's good to see all of you folks. General Kenobi, hello there. It's good to see you. Thank you all for joining. Julio Lopez, thank you for jumping into the chat. Feel free at any time to ask any questions you folks may have. I'd be happy to help you all with any problem solving or anything like that as we go along with our project. But without further ado, let's jump over here to my screen where I can show you sort of how you can get involved with me today and where to find Creative Cloud Express if you have never used it before. So if you go to adobe.com/express, it will take you to this wonderful page here where you can see all of the wonderful templates we have available in Creative Cloud Express. You can explore all the different actions and things that you can do here in the program, and just kind of a little overview of all of the wonderful things that it is capable of. And if you'd like to get started, all you have to do is hit this start for free, which will take you to express.adobe.com. So for this pair of challenges that I've done, by the way, if you missed any of the previous Creative Cloud Express challenges, you can head to the Creative Cloud Express YouTube channel, or you can check out any of the replays on Behance and the like. But we have been sort of digging into these infographics and trying to kind of break the rules of your standard infographic. So I've created this one just yesterday, and this is kind of a dipping your toes in a little bit to kind of how to create a standard Instagram story, but break the boundaries a little bit, sort of break the borders of the standard informational text box and kind of make things a little more interesting. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to stick with this interesting theme, and we are going to use the design assets and shapes and things available to you in Creative Cloud Express to create an infographic that is more a work of art than your standard infographic. So I'm going to come back here to my home page, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Facebook post sized project. And I'm not going to use a template because I'd like to create my own templates today, similar to what we did for our previous challenge. And so what I'm going to do is, instead of just hitting this plus button and starting out with this template as is, I'm just going to scroll down here and hover over the start from scratch and click there. And what that's going to do is it's going to give me just a blank document to work with that is the size and shape perfectly of a Facebook post. So you know that whatever it is you create, you don't have to resize or anything after you download it or export it. It will be perfect for your needs if you are making a Facebook post. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our background. I always love to set up a background instead of throwing design assets in first, because the background, for me, it really helps to set the mood of what I'm doing and keep me on track with the vibe and the theme. So I am going to use the same background that I used for our matching Instagram story. Just here in the backgrounds, I'm going to hit more on organic, and I'm going to come down to warped stripes. And I'm going to choose this one here. You can choose any that you like. And I am going to hit pin to background and not move freely. I prefer pin to background. So I'm going to pin that. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to click my background. I'm going to add a filter. And I'm going to add duotone. And I love duotone because duotone allows me to, I guess you could use your multiply, your lighten, your matte, and those kind of give you a nice change to your background. Like this one is actually pretty interesting, this colorized, but if I use duotone, I really have a lot of control over what exactly it is that I'm changing. So I'm going to turn my darkest color to black, and I'm going to turn my lighter color to a very subtle gray, because I just want it barely visible in the back. I don't want it to distract from my main design. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to start creating a scene. We're going to start creating like a landscape rather than just a text box and a title. So what I'm going for here is kind of a, I suppose, an example of our solar system. And it's not going to be super accurate as far as the planet placement and all that good stuff, because I am not a scientist, I'm a designer, but I think you'll get the gist of what I'm going for here. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over to shapes. And I'm going to go into basic shapes. I'm going to hit this more by basic shapes. And I'm going to grab myself an oval. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and with my control and plus and minus buttons, I'm just going to select this background, and I'm going to zoom out so that I can see the full scope of my piece here. And I'm going to edit the shape real quick. So I'm going to turn the fill off. We don't want the fill. I'm going to change my border to white. And then I'm going to crank down the stroke on this. I will expand it. We're going to make it very large. We're about to make the rings of our solar system. Okay. So I'm going to expand this out. And I might actually, let's bring this down even more because I want this to be pretty thin. We'll use our little rotation handle here and throw that right in there. So there's a ring. Okay. And then we'll hit our duplicate button right here. So we've duplicated this, and I'm just going to bring this down. I might actually expand this just slightly and rotate it one more time. There we go. And then I will crank this down right here. I might actually bring this down further and rotate it like so. Okay, so now we have these rings in here, and it's looking a little strange, but I promise we're gonna get to it. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do to start making this look more like our solar system scene is we're gonna start adding in some assets for our planets. So I'm gonna come over here to design assets, and you can always scroll through here and explore whatever you'd like to explore, but I love to use our search bar here because it helps me find exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm just going to say planets. And I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to grab this. I like to use this as my sun. And I am going to expand this out, make it large. And I'm going to put our sun right here. Just a big guy right at the bottom here. I might grab our ring and bump that down just slightly so that I can pull this over. And I just want to have a piece of this ring kind of poking out on one side of our sun and then continuing on. So now we have our rings, we have our sun, and we are going to add in some other planets. So let's go ahead and add this guy right here. We'll add this one. We will add this one, and maybe this one as well. So I'm just going to throw these in here. And then I'm going to start to arrange them on our rings. So we're just going to place this one out here. Boom. So it's right there. We'll grab this one. I think this one's probably going to be up here. We'll grab this one and put it up here. Make it a little smaller. Throw it down. We could have some kind of overlap. It doesn't have to be perfectly in view because we're not going to be making our infographic about that planet specifically. And then we'll put this one right down here. Let's make this one slightly smaller. So you can see how we are using shapes to create something that is a little out of the norm for your standard infographic. And the reason why I wanted to do this challenge this way for you folks is because there's a lot of really great templates in Creative Cloud Express. And I noticed that when I started using the templates, I kind of stuck with like your standard infographic situation, your standard layout for infographics. And I didn't really break away from that at all. And so I wanted to kind of get the creative juices flowing here with what is really possible with all of these wonderful assets and things we have available to us within Creative Cloud Express. And this is kind of an adventure into that space. So I might move our ring. I might make it larger and bring it out like this, because then it kind of allows me to move this up here like so. Okay, and I might leave that. I think that's good. So we've got these planets arranged on our rings, they're kind of, what I'm trying to do is show like that it is, all these planets are going around the sun, which I think looks actually pretty good right now. And then the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to start labeling them, because this is an infographic. It does have to convey some kind of information. So what we're going to do is grab some text and start throwing some text in there. Again, there are so many wonderful pieces of information here that you can kind of select yourself, just custom lockups and things that are already prepared for you. But I do like to create from scratch for this challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and say, add my text. And I'm going to just, as I said, these are not going to be accurate as far as the actual layout of our solar system. I'm just going to start throwing planet names in there. If you want yours to be more accurate, I suggest going and do a little space research and figure it out. But I'm just going to go ahead and write sun, or maybe I will write the sun. And I am going to change this to, I might change this to like a purple. And we will bump this down here. And I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. And I am going to, no, I don't want to do that. I want to keep it like this, and I want to resize from the center. And we're going to place the sun right here, just so you can clearly see that denoted there as the sun. We will add another one, and we will call this Neptune. And I want to make sure that is a perfect white, and it is. So I will shrink that down, and we'll put this out here. This one is going to be Neptune. And we'll add another. And this one will be Uranus. There we go. And we'll resize that. And we'll throw that in here. And then we will grab this one. And even though this is a bigger planet, we're going to do Pluto as solid, and we're going to call this one Pluto. Oops, not that one. Hold on. We need to make another text box first. There we go. We'll call this one Pluto. There we go. And we'll resize him. Put him over here. There we go. We'll throw him up there. This one's Pluto. Pluto is large today. And then we're going to make our little info bit right here for Mercury. So we are going to add text, and we're going to call this Mercury. I don't believe Mercury is this close to the sun. So please take design direction from me. Please do not take solar system information from me if you take anything from this challenge. So we'll put this right here, and then we'll add another text box, and this text box is going to, we'll just put in some random text, and we'll say information about the planet Mercury. I almost don't want this to be in caps. Let me redo this, not in caps. Information about the planet Mercury. And we will shrink this down a little bit. And I will copy this and duplicate it if I can. There we go. Just to get a little more information. And I am going to squeeze this in just a little bit. There we go. So we have our little info piece there. I will bump this up and line this up with it. Can I bump this up just a little bit? Yeah, so it's not, I just don't want it to be smashed up against that ring there. And I will put this up just slightly. Maybe I'll bump it up. I just don't want it to look like it is attached to this other planet, but I think that we can get away with it because I'm going to, I'm going to use a little arrow to denote what we're talking about here. So I'm going to come over to design assets and we'll find an arrow. Real quick though, I'll take a break and just make sure no one is asking any questions. Let me peek through here. Angel, welcome to, or Angie, welcome to the live chat. Thanks for popping in this morning. Appreciate it. Let me scroll through. The most important part of a sci-fi themed post is to give your assets some space. That's perfect. This is perfect. 3 planets in the same orbit. Impressive, most impressive. Yes, indeed. That's how we do things here. I'm the master of this space realm, and I can place the planets wherever I want. You can place your planets wherever you want. It is all about creative expression this morning and breaking the boundaries of your standard infographic. You do not have to follow any rules this morning. We're trying to kind of expand our ideas of what we desire or what we expect from infographics. All right, so thank you all again for jumping into the live chat. I appreciate it. And I'm going to get back in here and we are going to look for some arrows. So I'm going to type in arrow to our search bar. And what I would like to find is kind of a short arrow that bends, like maybe something like this. This one might work. Let's throw this in there and let's see. Let's turn this, the color of this white, and throw a filter on here. And we'll select this white. And then we will rotate this around. Perfect. And then I'm actually going to use the flip horizontal button there just so that I can flip it because I want it to be pointing from the information to our planet Mercury. I'm going to make this small and then I am going to give it some of that. There we go. I think that could work. So we've got, yeah, let's see. I'm going to use my arrow keys just to bump it a little bit because I want it to be like coming from the end of this M and pointing directly at the planet so we know exactly which planet we're talking about. So there's our information for Mercury. What I might actually do is select our text box. I'm going to hold Shift and start selecting all of these elements. And I might move this down just a little bit. And I might move Pluto over just a little bit. I think that'll do. Okay, so now we have all of our planets in. We have our sun, we have our info for Mercury, and the next thing I'd like to do is spice it up a little bit with some details just surrounding, because the only thing that's in the solar system is not just planets and the sun. We want to add some little stars and things like that just to make it a little more interesting. So we're going to come back to our design assets and we are going to type in stars. Now, one thing about the wonderful assets that we have within Creative Cloud Express is that you'll see that there'll be like, a single star here and there, but we do have like these really cool clusters of stars kind of around in all of our design assets. So you could take one single star and you could spend all the time sort of arranging it. But what I would like to do is find these sets, because as you go through here, you can find little like sets within the design assets. And I've seen these 3 little star clusters here that look like they match each other. And what I'd like to do is sort of arrange them all together in the background of our piece to kind of give the idea that there's stars all across our canvas instead of placing one individual star as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and click this one and throw that in there. And I am going to select it because you can barely see it right now. And we're going to come back to filters and we are going to change this to white. There we go. And then we're going to change this current to, I'm thinking, honestly, it might be interesting just to have that, or we could change that to white as well. It might be better just to change it to white. We could also change it to that yellow, which might work. I don't know. That could be interesting. For now, let's just change that secondary color to white so that it all blends in. And I'm going to resize this, and I'm just going to start arranging this. I also want to make sure that this, let me come into my layers here. What I will probably do is group a lot of this stuff together just to organize my layers. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to select all of my text as we go along in here. And I'm even going to add this arrow to it actually, and I'm going to go ahead and group all of that. So now I have all of that text in the group. I'm also going to select my planets and hold Shift, and I am going to make sure I organize all of my planets into a group. Let's go ahead and do that. And then I am going to select my rings. Let's get my rings in here. Can I snag it? I've got a lot of groups over top. There we go. Got both of my rings. And we're just going to group that. So now I can see all of that. And I have my stars here, which I'm going to move underneath my planets and my text because I don't want it to overlap over the top of anything. So I've got stars, and what I can do is I can just duplicate this little star cluster, and I can start to place it around and just reorient it as I see fit, just to kind of give this illusion that there's a bunch of different stars and star clusters around. I could come in and snag, let me go back into design assets. I could come in and snag another one of these that I feel matches pretty good. We could change the color exactly like we did. If I go to filters, let's just turn these both to white. And I will reorder this. We'll put this underneath our planets. And I can also, oops, let me Control Z there. I want to make sure that I'm selected on my planet or on my stars here. Let me just grab this little handle and drag it over, and I can resize it and start placing it around. And I would love to have more time to really put some serious effort into kind of decorating with all of my stars, but you can see where we're going with this. You can just start placing clusters just to give it kind of a nice little feeling of being in space, like so. And it's a lot of fun. So I hope you folks have enjoyed this challenge. This has been a really good time. I'm just going to continue to place stars here as I close out here, but I hope you folks have enjoyed this challenge. I hope it's opened up maybe some new ideas for you all on how you can actually interpret an infographic and what you could do with an infographic in Creative Cloud Express, because you don't have to just use text boxes and your standard layouts for things. There are so many illustrations and graphics and pieces of design sets and design elements that are available to you within Creative Cloud Express. You really can, I think, create your very own works of art as you kind of get more familiar with the program. And all it really takes is just a tiny bit of practice. Just jump in, grab some images that you just think are cool looking and start placing them on the canvas and see what you can come up with. I think that you folks will have a lot of fun. I think that it will be worth your while, even if you are somebody that does not work with illustrative elements within your projects. I think it could kind of open up a new door for you. See if you like designing that way. But that is all the time that I have for you folks today. Oops, don't want to move my text. I want to thank you all very, very much for joining. I appreciate all of you folks in the live chat coming out and watching the show today. For those of you who want to check out some of the previous challenges, head over to the Creative Cloud Express YouTube channel and check out all the wonderful videos that are there, or you can check out our archived videos on Behance. It's been a blast. I'm going to keep messing around in Creative Cloud Express. I hope you folks do too, and please share your designs with us. I'd love to see what you come up with. It's been a blast, but until next time, folks, adios.